Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's time to go. It's time to do it. And it's time, y'all. We're gonna talk about it today. We're gonna talk about it today. What are we Moors? Hebrew, FBA, Native American. Are we African? Let's talk about this. See, because we're having a dialogue. Um, Basically, we be having this conversation all the time and going back and forth on what are we? Some brothers, and this is kind of divisive. I feel um, you can be whatever you want, Christian, Catholic, Muslim. What I mean, more, but then Hebrew, all this. But then sometimes we get carried away with it, and then we go radical. We get to sometimes we get to be extremists. Sorry, extremists. We get to and we get carried away with it sometimes. So I'm here to talk about what are we, you know? You see what I'm saying? And where do all these terms come from? And some of the misconceptions we always coming up with. So let's just get it, man. I want to talk about it because, I'm just sick of everybody, really. I'm just sick of all of them. I'm sick of everybody. I'm calling out everybody who want to get it, actually. Whoever want to get it can get it. That's what I'm just talking. I'm just flat out. I don't care who you is. That mean everybody. If you want to get it, you can get it about this whole subject about who we are. I came up and when I posted, everybody be they be shocked, but they be shook at the same time. They be shocked, but they be shook at the same time. When I say what I gotta say, because they say explain this, explain that. Boom, I explain it the way I explain it. They be shocked, and then they be shook. They say, well, how we do this? Boom. When I say it, they be shocked and they be shook. And when I say it, they always shocked and shook about it. So I mean, come at it the way you want to, say whatever. But when you ask the question and I come with it, you gonna be shocked and shook because it's like, okay, so you got some brothers, they Hebrew and they don't have answers on how they became Hebrew. Where was they born Hebrew? Where they lineage come from? Same thing with the brothers about being Moor. They can't answer these questions on where they come from, where their lineage come from, and what makes them a Moor. Where did the Moor come from? African the same way. That goes for the African. It goes for everybody I just said, right? Where are y'all coming from? The Native American, okay? Because when I deal with kind of like I deal with the genetics a lot and the science of the whole situation. You see, I look at the migration patterns of what's going on. So first thing I want to establish is what you talking about. The first thing, see, because we go off into all this other stuff where the brothers be talking about some they this and that and this and that, and then they go skip from 1490s or 1500s or the 1600s or the 16th century, 15th century, whatever, and then they go skip all the way back to the first century or the third century or the fourth century AD. So I mean, I'd be like, wait, whoa. You can't skip over 1,400 years, 1,000 years, 1,500 years of history, and then just start history all over again. What happened in between all this time? You see what I'm saying? And see, that's the problem I have with all these situations on when we debating on all this stupid shit. You're skipping, you are skipping thousands thousands of years when y'all be talking, and not adding in that. And if nobody really catching it, they not understanding what's really going on in between that. You see what I'm saying? You just sitting up here talking about some um you a Hebrew from the land of Judah. That the land of Judah was during this time, right? And then all of a sudden we skip over to America. But that can't fly. Or same thing with the Moors. You can't skip from 711 all the way to 1400, all the way to the 2000s. You're going to have to fill in these blanks of what's going on first. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with the African. I'm not being biased on nobody. I'm just saying everybody gonna have to explain what makes them who they claim that they are. See, and see, then when we go all the way back, and you start talking about these out of Africa and all this, but then you forget to add in the theory part of the out of Africa theory. You see what I'm saying? You forget to add that part out because, like I'll say, now you going into something deep. So now you went back 3, 4, 500,000 years ago, and then trying to add it to biblical times, and then trying to add that to 1492, 16th century, fucking 15th century, and to today, modern day. I said, y'all coming up with some crazy stuff, all y'all. So, like I said, you gonna have to explain what you're talking about first. Because to me, none of it makes sense. It really doesn't make sense. None of the stuff y'all talking about. If you're really paying attention to the stuff that these brothers out here kicking, you like it don't make any sense. So are you a Moor? And if you're a Moor, let's see. Let me see. Anybody in the chat? Anybody got something to say? Let me see. Is it on? I don't know. Yeah, it is. What's up? Peace. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you, what makes you think that which I want to talk about, like more Hebrew? What makes you think that you're one of those people? I'm gonna start off with the Moors. That's the first people I'm gonna start off because that actually will eliminate um, the Hebrew. So if I go in about Moor and the Moorish or whoever y'all claim to be Moroccan or whatever, um, that will eliminate the Hebrew and all that. So if I take out more, I'm taking out Hebrew. Or if I take out Hebrew, I take out more. It don't matter. It's interchangeable when I take that out with things I have to kick. It's over. Yeah, see that's what I'm here to address right there. Exactly what you're saying. See now, exactly what you're saying is what I'm here to address because that's also something that um, a lot of people like to say that what you understand. What are you saying that you the founder of civilization? You see what I'm saying? Who? Okay, it's people all over the earth, and during what time? People civilization spawned different times at different. They don't know each other, and nobody actually can say when did they civilization spawn. What makes a civilization? You see what I'm saying? We call it like when it's a city together and they got stuff going on, right? So I mean, you got some civilizations that date back to 200,000 years ago, and those not even Homo sapiens. So see what I'm saying? See, see what I'm saying? What y'all be talking about? Y'all be saying like that, and see that's what I gotta say. Y'all be talking about like out of Africa theory and all this stuff, when the people, the hominids out of Africa, is not even Homo sapien. These not even Homo sapien people. Basically, they not us. This is a Homo. This is a Homo sapien. So the people who 3, 4, 500 years ago out of Africa, they not us. Okay, it's no such a thing as white people during that time. The ice age didn't happen yet. So you see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. And what we do is, what are we saying? We created civilization. Who is we? That's what I'm saying. Who is we to create civilization? Homo sapien didn't create civilization, y'all. If that's what y'all trying to say, it was other hominids that's not a human like Homo sapien like us that had a civilized society. See what I'm saying? So no, we didn't create it. So I don't know what you talk. I don't know what people talking about. And to me, it's crazy when people do that. And you know what I'm saying? Oh man, hold on. Let me see. I mean, I understand that that's Africans. Africans came along. See, okay, the name Africa came along in the 14th, 15th century. So I know what you're saying. Like the people of the continent, they spread out and they went around and did what they had to do. I see what you're saying. But no, it's not. That's not really the truth, because when those people left out of what we call Africa today, it's a continent at that time. They don't call it Africa, but when they left that continent of that time, the people that's not Homo sapien, us, the people that's not a Homo sapien, so these are different type of hominid humans that left Africa, what we call Africa today, during those times. And as they left, they went to these other lands that y'all talking about, because that's what y'all talking about. We civilized those lands. And they ran into other hominids that wasn't like them. And they made it with them. See, that's something everybody leaving out. And they wasn't white. See, because Neanderthal at this time was brown, the Denisovans was brown, the Homo sapien wasn't even he was we not even talking about him yet, and all these other archaic hominids that was around, they all was brown because the ice age ain't happened yet. So what we're saying is kind of silly when we're saying it to people. We we created civilization. Who is we? Because it's not no other. It's not like it's white people on the earth. Nowhere. The ice age ain't happened yet. See? So that's what I'm here to discuss today. And nobody don't like it, and I don't care because you guys ain't using straight up science or facts. You're using some stuff you done heard from people, and you skipping over thousands and thousands of years. That's what they doing. You skipping over thousands and thousands of years because you want to be right about everything. But you can't civilize civilization when you're the only civilization to civilize. You're basically out there talking about you created civilization. You're the only person around. Everybody else is like an ape. You're kind of like a, so when Homo sapien come around, which is us, when we go around, we run into Neanderthal. Neanderthal is like an ape, y'all. We had sex with that person. We went to Asia in that area. We ran into Denizen. We had sex with them too. That's like an ape person too. We went down to Indonesia, ran into Java man, the Java woman, or whatever, the Java people. We had sex with the Java folks too. These are not Homo sapiens, bro. And then they got caves of today where they go in and they find the caves where Homo sapien, Homo neanderthal, Homo denisovans all lived together and had sex together and made it. These all brown people. So that's the first thing we got to understand and get that out of our mind, that it was some type of white Neanderthal running around here. It wasn't until the Ice Age. That's when the white Neanderthal came around. You see what I'm saying? So by the time y'all talking about where we came around and civilized civilization, we been did that already. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. Exactly. Exactly. The original name of the continent. Okay, I understand all that. I understand all that. But that's what I'm trying to say. But you can't. Like you said, trillions of years ago, which of course trillions of years ago we wasn't Homo sapien. But you can't. Then you can't bring in the Ice Age 30,000 years ago and then start talking about the European like he doing something. You just said trillion years to 30,000 years. That's what I'm saying about that. That's where we just we mentally just corrupting ourselves with that. Brother, I'm a Pan African scholar. I have a degree. What you talking about? You guys don't. That's why you guys making all this stuff up about Africa. And none of you took an anthropology course. Because if you did, you wouldn't be saying some of this stuff y'all be saying. Because you skipping thousands and thousands of years. Like I said, I agree with some of the stuff you're saying, but you can't. You're not a Homo sapien during that time. Do you understand that? The Homo sapien come into play maybe 400,000 years ago. You just said trillions of years ago. Come on, man. You wasn't walking the damn earth a trillion years ago. Mentally, you was walking this earth a trillion years ago. You was in a whole nother different life form. But you can't use that life form and act like you the African of today. And that's what y'all doing. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all acting like y'all the African of today a trillion fucking years ago when you're not. Because you're not a fucking Homo sapien. You're in a whole different form. So stop that. Call that miseducating the people. Well, y'all can say whatever, you know what I mean. But the truth of it is if you take anthropology, the first people out of Africa wasn't Homo sapien. So you can say whatever, and I need to take whatever course y'all take, and if it's in prison, I don't want to go because that's the course y'all taking. Some course in prison, making this shit up because y'all ain't got nothing else to do. And I said it. Now, if you want some real scholarship, you turn on the damn real scholars and you listen to some real history, okay? Because, like I said, you brothers don't understand every single year, every semester, it's a history, um, somebody with a history degree, a black person from a black uh, college that's graduating every year from with a history degree. But you won't listen to him. You want to listen to everybody else. You don't want to listen to the brother who just graduated from a Spelman with a degree in African history. You don't want to listen to these brothers. Dr. Walter Williams out here, don't want to listen to him. Like I said, y'all don't want to listen to Dr. Thomas Sowell, Coon. That's what y'all say. Don't want to listen to him. Everybody who is a real doctor, y'all don't want to listen. But y'all will listen to Dr. Sebi. See, that's what I don't understand. You're gonna listen to Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi said he got a degree. It's cool. He said he got a degree. He cured AIDS and did this. He did this and he did that. Y'all believe all that. Dr. Sebi, not a real doctor though. Y'all won't listen to him. So that's the stuff I'm talking about, man. That's why I'm here to address it. And I think you brothers is upset because I'm not really attacking about being a Moor or a Hebrew, but y'all don't show and prove because once I show and prove what I got to say, then you can't be a Moor and a Hebrew. Because I mean, you can be whatever you want to be, but it's really um, another thing somebody that came up with. That's what you're gonna have to check. You're gonna understand once I show you what's up. Man, fucking lighter out. See, because we got to start back with I don't know. I mean, I can go back whatever far, but we'll start back during who was over there? The Carthaginians. See, and that's Hannibal, right? See, you guys don't want it with me. Hannibal was there, and y'all call Hannibal a Moor, but Hannibal wasn't a Moor. I mean, maybe that's what he was because y'all like to interchange and people, Europeans, a lot of different scholars, a lot of different people like to interchange the word Moor with Brown. So maybe Hannibal was a Moor, but he wasn't no general of a Moor army. I'll tell you that much. Maybe, wait a minute. Maybe his army was a Moor army because those was the people. But I don't think they classified themselves as Moor. I don't really know about that time. But I tell you what, during those times, and the scholars agree, the Moorish scholars agree, these brothers are Carthaginian. Now, the Carthaginian brothers are Mediterranean brothers. See? What is a Mediterranean brother? See, that's why I'm going deep. And I see brothers want to talk about African studies and stuff, but they don't want to talk about African studies. Why? Because you're talking about Mediterranean now. And Mediterranean is part of Africa, but these brothers is so brainwashed and corrupt, they corrupted themselves, they don't want to accept Mediterranean. But Carthage is on this side of what is that? The Mediterranean? I don't know what the hell that is. The Mediterranean Sea. It's on this side, okay? It's got a little couple places over there, and what today is called Spain, and the little Italian islands. Um, few of them over there, Sicily and all that crap. That's a few. So, but basically, home of Carthage is where? Bam. Okay, then. All right, it's on Africa. So y'all don't want to talk about African history because you're gonna leave out the Mediterranean. Because when you learn that the Mediterranean is not the black people that y'all think they are, then y'all gonna get mad and make up some other shit. See, like I just said, the Mediterranean is not the black people who you trying to make they are to be. The Mediterranean people is exactly who they are. And y'all need to stop that too. And those the Carthaginians. Carthage was a mixed society, such as Egypt, such as the rest of the Mediterranean during those times. What times are those? During the we're gonna give it 200, 100 BC all the way to uh, 0 AD. How about that? I forget how long Carthage lasts, but Rome destroyed Carthage, and then they took over, and then they took over Egypt. So during that time, how about that? See what I'm saying? Carthage was the folk then. Was no Spain. Was none of this. Carthage had all that crap, man. See, see, Carthage had all that. See, and there wasn't no Islam. See, and nope, nope, nope. Wasn't no Judaism. Nope. Wasn't no Catholics. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Carthage took over. They had pagan gods, my G. This is pagan. Come think of it, they got ran. I forgot how Carthage got started. Then the story is they ran somebody out, but we don't really know. They ran some princess out, and she started Carthage, my G. And that's before the Holy Roman Church took over, which is the Roman Empire, which is the Roman Catholic Church. See, see, see. You don't have all this stuff. You don't have none of this stuff around. You don't have, you know, no churches. Nobody got a church around because no church was built. Oh, Dr. Walter Williams again. No church is built nowhere. See, you can have a house here and there, and that's where y'all worship at or a site, but that's not where that's not the church. See, you don't have nothing built. You don't have nothing built. Who did the Romans take over? They took over the Greeks. Who is the Greeks? No such thing as no Greeks. They the Macedonians and all those other people around there. We call them the Greeks today, but they really called what they actually call, which is all kind of different names. The main crew was Macedonia, just like what's his name, Alexander the Macedonian, Alexander the Greek, which is Alexander the Great, um, and he was a Macedonian. Ptolemy one, and all them was from Macedonia. That was Macedonian generals, and that was Macedonia was the other, bam, they was over that way. It was um it's that Eastern or Western. That's Eastern Rome. That's the Eastern Roman Empire that they was Macedonians and all those folks, which is more mixed folks. You don't know my brother. Um, you don't know the name of the original name of Africa for one thing, or the continent, or whatever you're saying. Um, Nobody don't because what you're saying is correct. See, this is what I'm saying. He gonna tell me I need. He gonna tell me the original name of the continent of what we call Africa today, and then he gonna say, you know, I need real education and I need some real Pan African studies, right? And that's all cool. You get to say whatever you want to say, you know, but none of that is the truth because if you live in Congo, Congo, right? And I live in Nigeria. What we call these places, we call them today, Congo and Nigeria of today. Brother, I don't know the name that you call the whole continent. So I don't even know it's a whole continent that's mapped out like that. Some of us in some of these tribes. So that's what I'm saying. You using what you're talking about today because you had a knowledge of a map and a globe and Google Earth, and you using that trying to act like these people back then had that same knowledge, brother. It took a horse only can go the top notch horse, top notch bred horse can only go 100 miles in one day. Cut it out. That's all it can go. Unless you got another horse right there, you just chilling and your horse gotta stop, chill, go to sleep and all that. You must got another horse right there. You jump on that horse and you gone again. Horse go about what? 20, 40, 30 miles per hour. Horse only can go 100 miles in one day. That's a top notch horse. Most horses only going 30 to 50 miles in one day. That's all a horse can do. A human can't walk. A human ain't walking. A human can walk farther than that. But you're going to be tired and you're going to have to walk all day at a slow pace. Okay? So, that's what I'm saying. No, no, brothers did not call it whatever you calling the name of the continent at that time because some brothers didn't even know some other brothers existed. The other brother didn't care what he called the continent. He was too busy worried about his tribe and what he was doing in his territory. These brothers, like I said, didn't have armies. They weren't prepared for none of this stuff. And that's something else we want to get in if we want to get on to that. So once I said again about the Hebrews and the land of Judah and all that, when I bring in Carthage and all and Carthage and all and the Holy Roman Empire, it's over for that. Okay, none of that is around until afterwards, the fall of that. Okay, after the fall of that, that's when you get these little tribes that's branching off from the Holy Roman Empire, Carthage, Egypt, and other branches, right? See, because then we talk about the Coptic, the Coptic Church, the Coptic Egyptian Church, which later becomes everything else. See, so you know, wait a minute, time out, time out, time out, time out, time out. I think it might be. I gotta check this out. It might be that the folk that started Carthage was kicked out of being Coptic. I'm fucked up. Wait a minute. I think the folks that was the sis the sis that was actually she said she about this Coptic church. It was one of them Coptic. They gotta had a few Coptic churches back then, and I think she got kicked out or something happened in the Coptic church, and she went and started Carthage, what they call Carthage and Carthaginian folk. Off that, and all her folks follow her. That's what they say. Now, see, we once again we don't know, but that's how they say. That's how that started from the Coptics, I think, and I'm pretty sure that's because that's around that time that the Coptic Church was getting into their beefs with with Rome. They was already beefed out. They already kicked the Greeks out. They was beefed out with them. Mm, mm, mm. It was all kind of shit going on during this time, bro. It was all kind of shit. I can just imagine. Then, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to study more of um, what happened during those times of Roman and pre-Roman times. See, see, because that's the history that we get. We get the Greek, we get the Roman, of course, we get the Cop, which is the Coptics. We get all this history, and then we get some thrown in history from a few scholars that we think did little research. Like I don't even be worrying about these brothers because, like I say, I had J.A. Rogers first edition since I was a kid. My grandpa had original J.A. Rogers, since World War II when they first came out. So I had a whole library growing up of Black history books. I'm not worried about this brother talking about um, scholarship and stuff. He actually needs to do some studying and get off his high horse and understand what I was talking about earlier about pre-human civilization. You see what I'm saying? He ain't even thinking about the ice age and all that. He talking about some we the first people who created civilization and all that. I don't even know what he talking about. And you see people like that I wanted to address, and I'm glad that actually he actually came out and said something because I really wanted to address that too in this whole video, but I ain't really got nothing but snap on. But I'm glad he said something because I wanted to address that original man stuff and all that. I mean, of course you do. It's nobody else on the earth besides you. You on the earth. When you go around, you meet other hominids. Like I said, you mate with all these different hominids. You know, at that time. Um, you look at the guy who the folks who went to the islands. What's they called? The Ottoman Islands. They over there in India, way out there in Indian Sea, or way out there deep, close to India. But I think it's the Ottoman Islands or something like that. And these like some of the original first folk out of Africa, right? When they test their DNA, these older folks, right? And you can see that when they test their DNA, they not the African of today from nowhere. Goes back to exactly what I'm saying. They test their DNA and they DNA closer to Asian Chinese people, Taiwan people from Taiwan than it is to the African, any African on the continent. So wait a minute, brother. You mean to tell me they test some people and these folk that's dark skin, nappy hair on these islands in the South Pacific somewhere. It's not even really the South Pacific, but it's the South Asian Sea. I'm gonna get into the South Pacific. I'm gonna get South Pacific different, but this South Asia. They test the brothers in the South Asian area, and they dark skin, darker than you, hair all kind of different types, nappy all the way to blonde. And these brothers is more Taiwanese than you. They from Taiwan. They genetics go back to Taiwan, not to Africa or nobody in Africa. Okay, but we know that they came out of Africa way before the DNA can test the people who came from Taiwan. See, because it also shows that they go way back to the original people who left out of Africa thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago. The people who came to Taiwan, that's a whole different other wave of people, and that's who they um, test closer to. Not the modern African who's chilling right now in Senegal or wherever he's chilling at right now. Zulu, no. He's way to Asia over there. He's a black brother and he's closer to him. See, you brothers don't want it. See, y'all don't want it. Y'all just want to talk. But you don't want to sit down and really get an understanding of how it all works. Maybe we will agree if you sit down and talk to me because I agree, but you're not saying it right. And I'm not going to agree with the foolishness because what you're saying is don't make sense. You see what I'm saying? The original black man is this. Nope, nope, nope. Okay? Right, but European one, the Ice Age ain't even there. The Ice Age is modern day with us. This, this fool done talking about some trillion years ago. Now just think about 1 trillion, but we ain't gonna even do that because that's just ridiculous. We're gonna think about 1 million. So we got 1 million years go by. Boom, 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 boom. We on the earth, human. I don't know who we are, but we Homo sapien, I guess we are. African black man. And then the Ice Age come about 30,000 years ago. And during the Ice Age, the Europeans spawned Neanderthal, all that, and then say 10,000 years ago, he come out of the Ice Age and he come and start war and fights and all that. Why in the fuck are we talking about an Ice Age when we got a million? No, we got 970,000 hundred years, 970 shit, 900,000 is man, fuck, 970,000 years of history. See, once again, the brother's just not using logic, man. I'm not going to entertain their stupidness. Who cares? You've been motherfucking had a civilization if that's what you're trying to say. We civilized. We civilized. Nigga, you had civilization a long time ago, way before the Ice Age. So stop that. It was no other, was no such thing as like white folks or no race or none of that. Cut it out. Once you get that through your head, then you can come talk to me with some logic. Because I'm not gonna sit here and play that stupid game and skip over hundreds of thousands and thousands of years and play that game. And it's the same thing with the Moors and the Hebrew. I'm not gonna sit around and play that game with you guys where you want to skip years on where was you at, how did you migrate, where did you come from, where your homeland, what did you leave, or kind of archaeological, archaeology, whatever site, you know, where they at, where housing, what type of housing you built, what animals did you have with you, did you domesticate any, what kind of plants did you bring with you or domesticate, where's the migration pattern. That's what I'm gonna ask you, Amor, and everybody else who claim that you did all this stuff and you are these people. I'm gonna ask you that. I asked the African the same thing. Anybody who claim all this, you know, you don't have to show and prove. Because, you know, Native American, what was you doing? What food did you eat? What animal do you domesticate? Where was your land? What happened? Let's hear it. See, because we know for a fact that you had Native Americans on this land that was brown skin, right? You had most of them was straight hair because why? They was Polynesian. They was from the South Pacific. Those folks. You had a few migrated over here from Africa. You might have a few, okay, but the majority wasn't. The majority was Polynesian style. The other Siberian style. You had a whole bunch of different mixture of Native American. That's why Native American DNA is so hard to decipher or them to understand what's going on when they try to take it because they can't manifest what the hell is a Native American because it's Native American. There's so many different tribes and different people on this land during that time, but it wasn't no bunch of black people if that's what you're trying to say from Africa. No, they was not. It was some, but it was not a whole fucking bunch like you trying to say. And then you try to claim a whole bunch of black people that's down in the motherfucking Mississippi, Florida, Alabama. It's because of the environment you're going to be brown, and of course we're going to come that way from South America. But once again, they're not you. If you came over here with a tribe from Africa, that's one tribe. This is a whole continent. Your one tribe is not about to create a whole continent of people or overtake the whole continent of people. You can't migrate in with the people, which will happen. People assimilated when during the slave trade. So when we come talk about Native American, sure you have a few Native American, way more than a few, a group of Native Americans that actually was branched in. You had a whole bunch of Negroes that was branched in. You had a whole bunch of white folks that was branched in. You had a whole bunch of white folks branched in Native American. Everybody, it goes away all the way. This is America. That is South America. That is Central America. Do y'all know how we got Central South America and most of Spanish Florida, which was that whole area too? We whooped some motherfuckers' ass, which was called the Spanish. They gave it up and they sold it to us. They said, "Fuck this shit. We got too much shit to worry about on the Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere. I don't know where the fuck is that. But on the other side of town, they had that other whole side, Philippines, all this shit going on. They ain't had time to be dealing with us. They was running out of money. They was like, God damn, we got too much shit going on. We ain't producing no more. Everybody acting a fool. All these mulattoes all over there, Central South America, Caribbean acting a fool. Let's leave all these motherfuckers and these Spanish fools over here and dip. And they dipped. And then they sold it to America. And then when America got it, America said, man, I don't want all this shit. I don't want none of this Caribbean shit. There's too much of these mulatto niggas acting up. We got too many niggas acting up here. Mm-mm. All this shit can stay independent. They do what the fuck they want to do. Bam, 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 all y'all. We ain't about to police this shit, y'all. We here at the U.S. motherfucking A. And that's how all that shit became who they became today. Venezuela, motherfucking Brazil, this, that, Panama, I mean, Mexico. We don't want none of that shit the Spanish had, man. I find out what to do with that. Them your subjects. Them ain't our folk. Our folk already acting a motherfucking fool already. They don't want to pay $1 tax, nigga. That's what was popping off. So y'all better get y'all facts straight when y'all coming at your boy Bucks up out here at PC Network. Y'all better get it right when y'all come through. That's just on real because I'm sick of it. But talking about all this whole ridiculous stuff. Get your facts right. Come at me. You see what I'm saying? We can debate on it on whatever you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm gonna go again. The Native Americans are Polynesian, what we call coming from the Siberian Peninsula, which is Russian and all these type of folk, Asian type folk, right? We got folks coming from again Polynesian area, which is the South Pacific Islanders, right? We have folks coming over during the Ice Age for what they call the Siberian folk, Asian type of Mongoloid folk, Mongoloid type folk, Polynesian type folk, which is some of the original folk, some of the original folk, Polynesian folk, which is some of the original folk. You got some of the Siberian Mongoloid coming over, and then you have a few sweeps of groups coming over from the coast of Africa, and you got a few travelers coming from Viking land. A few, okay? These are the people that's coming into what we call the continent of North, Central, South America during all this time. That's why I said Native American is a bunch of tribes. It's mostly Polynesian and Mongoloid. So y'all can argue all y'all want to about that, but if you don't have no Mongoloid and Polynesian DNA, you're not Native American, my G. Okay? A lot of Mongoloid, not Mongoloid, a lot of Polynesian Native Americans was uh, assimilated into being colored black. That was a bunch. I agree. Don't forget, they gave you a ultimatum. Go to the reservation, or you can stay here and be a Christian Catholic. Anybody else was getting put into slavery. Anybody else caught. Simple as that. People can say what they want to say. I'm going to say it once again. You was either put on a reservation. They started probably about the 1600s. I don't know. You know when they start. We don't really know. They say that during this time, 1800s, they started reservation. We don't know. I don't know what the hell happened to half of the motherfuckers. But you was either put on reservation, become a Catholic Christian, or whatever the hell they called it, or be put into slavery. You have to work. That's the only three things you can do as a Native American. They let a few stay on, and then they took their stuff too. So no, you didn't. You was able to hide. Maybe yes, you was able to hide and stuff. But other than that, that was the only thing. That was your only things to do. Another thing that was going on during all these times, where people claim that they're the native was the natives was don't forget the natives always was at war. You know, who was mostly at war? They was at war with them Polynesians, which was some of them. Most of them was some of the Omak. That's where y'all get confused there too. And that was like the Omaks. I'm the Omak brothers. The ancestors of the Olmecs was their ancestors. So they always was at war with the Mongoloids. I feel, and it seems like that's what you look at when you see these fights and stuff. Um, it's actually on some of their walls. Kind of see it, but you know, history is something, and I'm glad that you actually have some history on walls that you can actually look to. What else I was saying about the Native brothers who claim they're Native American, how they have to show and prove because you have to have some type of um, truth to what you're saying because you just can't just go by like, okay, I'm Native American. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to talk about like the Irish blood that's in a lot of people that they claim that Native American, but really it's Irish blood because a lot of people has a lot of Irish blood in them because what happened with this was don't forget the indentured servants. So the indentured servants was Irish, mostly Irish was indentured servants all over. That's something like the Caribbean once a lot of people do the DNA test with the Caribbean people, like the Spanish folks. A lot of Spanish folks from the Caribbean. It's it's crazy because a lot of people, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and everybody who speaks Spanish is actually Irish, a little bit of Native American and African. And it's crazy because they always thought they was Taino Indian and Spanish, but really they was most of them are Irish, um, 2% like two to like 10% Taino Indian, and like the rest be African, Irish, and a little bit of Native Taino. That's a lot of Spanish folks, and that shows you what I'm talking about because the people who worked on the plantation was uh, enslaved Africans brought over, enslaved Irish who turned into the indentured servants after a while, and became some of the masters and overseers of the plantation, and husbands and wives of a lot of people throughout the Caribbean and North America, Central South. That's what I was talking about with the Irish. That's also when they say that's why they like to say British too, because that's kind of the same thing. Irish British, still the same thing. You got to look at that history right there. What was going on? These are the poor folks of that area that they used to send out for servitude or whatever they called it, or then they indentured servant or whatever. So it was all. That's why they be having British and Spanish. I mean, what's the name? And then I'm gonna prove to you what I'm talking about with the Hispanics. This is gonna get you because when they say they do the DNA on somebody who from Spain, and they from Spain, say a Puerto Rican, and they actually family from Spain, it comes back they from the Iberian Peninsula. See, see what I'm saying? It don't come back that they from Spain. It don't come back that they from Portugal. It just comes back that they're from what I said again, the Iberian Peninsula, which is that whole area over there. Who controlled that whole area during that time? You guys gonna say the Moors and all that. I just told you who controlled everything before the Turkish Moorish army came in. That was the Carthaginians. See, because the Moors didn't control all of the areas. They controlled some areas of Granada, Castile, um, uh, Al Andalus, and all these areas over there. But there was still other areas of the Iberian Peninsula that had kings and queens that they controlled their own stuff. So that's what I'm trying to say. See, so that's why I like to just say, yeah, the Carthaginians. See, and that goes back. See, because it goes back to they say the Iberian Peninsula. See, they don't go back to and say, "Oh man, you from Portugal," because it was no Portugal, it was no Spain. See, I got y'all again. So you're gonna have to prove that your folk was in El Andalus during that time, and Granada or Seville or I forgot that other spot over there, Montenegro. Or I forgot what it's called. Maybe that's over there. I don't know. I forgot. But you're gonna have to, show and prove that you over there, because Carthage had all that, and you don't want me to get started on them and controlling and how long they had it. So after that, the Romans had it, the Roman had it, and then the Turk, what the hell they called the Turks had it, the Ottoman Turks had it. Before the Ottoman Turks had it was basically they was Ottoman Turks. They were out of Syria. That's the land. That's the Turkey, Syria. That's the area they was from. Um, and that's 600. You know, that's 600s. That's when they conquered it, and they declared it there 711 or something like that. So they had to be coming through before that, bashing out. You see what I'm saying? So now, when we talk about that, and the area they coming from is Turkey, Syria. Don't forget what's over there during that time. They built the first Catholic church over there during that time. That's when they built the first Catholic church during that time. See, it was a lot of stuff going on. See, that's when don't forget the Coptics came, and the Coptics held the Council of Nicaea. The Coptics held the Council of Nicaea. The Egyptian Coptics held the Council of Nicaea in 300 with the folk, with the Romans and the rest of the African folk. Council of Nicaea to discuss, what's going on. They built the church after that. After that, they came and raided everybody, took everybody over. They was pissed. Crusades going down. Crusades going down. The Crusades going down. Now during all this time, somebody gonna have to tell me what they doing, they generals, captains, they homeland, where they was at. You can't. And until then, I'm out. Peace. We holla. Leave comments, subscribe.